What's up, what's going on, guys? In this lesson, I'm going to talk to you about 3 ways to spice up your drum fills. Let's get into this. So I put out a poll the other day, and you guys answered. So there was definitely a resounding yes. How can I spice up my drum fills? I want to know. So I'm going to come out with lessons on that. Maybe just do a little lesson series on spicing up these drum fills. So 3 things came to mind right away when I was thinking about changing a boring drum fill into something a little bit more interesting. Or you just need help in creating a new drum fill. You kind of play that rehearsed one that you learned a while ago, and it just seems like your drum fills are in a box and your beats are in a box, and there's not any kind of blending, and you don't know how to break out of that little box that you're stuck in. So hopefully these will help you create some new ideas and kind of spark some creativity. So the first thing I want to look at is creating texture. Okay, let's take a super simple drum fill that we all know, Pat Boone, Debbie Boone, dat doon, dat da doon. How do you get this to be something more musical? Okay, so tip number 1 is start incorporating flams in your drum fills. Flams are some of the best ways to just get some texture, to change up the really kind of boring one single note on each drum, okay? Flams just have a great way of making the fill sound thicker, okay? So whether you're playing it on your toms or your snare, it just adds a thickness. And, you know, so many solid players, if you listen to guys who are really great drummers, they all utilize the flams very well. So start off that Pat Boone, Debbie Boone with a flam. Now, flams also work great on 2 voices. I'm just playing around with flams, you know. Flams, try to make use of flams. So let's go back to that example of the Pat Boone, Debbie Boone. Now, it already starts to sound a lot different, but what else did I do in there? Did you hear something? Instead of, so I'm starting to utilize more notes in the subdivision. So I think that would be the next point. Point number 2, utilize more notes in the subdivision. It doesn't have to be so rigid. You can have the main idea of the fill, but there is notes around that. So 3 and 4 en. What about 3 en, 4 en? So now those don't need to be. No. We're trying to add texture. We're trying to add dynamics. We're paying close attention to the articulation of how we're playing those notes. So we got a flam. Then I'm going to do a little ghost note with the left. So E. So that'd be on the E if we're trying to count this out really. 3 E and. So going back up. 3 E and So now I'm utilizing the E and the and they're ghosted. Okay, the E's and the U's are ghosted. Okay? So all of the same notes are there from the beginning, but now I'm slipping in those ghost notes, adding more texture. Okay, so point number 2, making more use of the subdivision, right? Slipping in ghost notes. Now you can also think of utilizing your kick drum more in your fills. Okay, I'm just giving examples of how you can slip the kick drum in between the notes. Maybe instead of hitting one of those notes on the toms, you're going to use the kick instead, okay? You're going to switch it out with the kick. You can also slip the kicks in. So that's where we get onto the subject of linear style fills, right? And that's something I've done a lot of lessons on. In fact, I have a whole course on my website called the Linear Drumming Bootcamp, and it's a lot of material on how to develop better flow between your hands and your kick. So if you're interested in that, definitely check that out. It's one of the most popular courses at FisherDrumming.com. So a little plug there. Yes, it's a plug. Go check it out. Anyways, back to the lesson. Here we go. So maybe I want to go 3E, and instead of playing that ghost note on the snare, I'm going to play with my kick. And And then instead of 3E and a 4E and 1, I'm gonna go and a 1. So I'm gonna go and get a little kick drum in there too. All right, what did I just do there? I'm introducing point number 3. Utilize your crashes, not just on the 1. So when you're a beginner drummer and when you're an early intermediate drummer, you're just still kind of thinking in that box of crashes on the 1, crashes on the 1 only. Now, yes, crashes on the 1, awesome. But what I want you to try to do is push that crash on the 16th note before the 1, if you want a little bit of a funky flair to this. So let's see what that looks like. So what I did there is I did 3E and a 4E and instead of on the 1. So in music, that's a common thing where you're pushing it. You're pushing that crash. You're pushing the 1 really is the 16th note before the 1. If the whole band's on point and that feels good, that's really common in music. So you can do that, or you can do add another crash in after, or Okay, I think you know what I'm saying when I go Okay, ready? Let's look at that. Okay, so I went 3E and a 4E and a 1 and. So I got the E before the 1, right? Or the before the 1. And then I got the and of 1 in there. So I'm not actually crashing on the 1, I'm crashing around the 1, but it creates this really cool kind of funky effect. So I know we're talking about drum fills, but crashes and fills kind of go together. So that's why I'm bringing this in there, because right there I got 3E and a 4E and a 1 and 2. So on the backbeat, I got a crash in there. And then another way that we can look at it is still keep the crash on the 1, but let's slip in the before the 1. So we got a 1. So I'm just having fun there. Anyways, so as you can see, using the crashes in these different places, extend them over the bar line if you're trying to do something different, do something more interesting, if you're trying to show off a little bit. Totally cool stuff right there to do. And I'm just going to kind of play around here and just have a little fun with some linear ideas, with some crashes. And I hope this is a little inspirational lesson for you so you can go back to your kit, have some fun this weekend or whenever you're watching this, all right? So guys, these are just a few tips, okay? Kind of like I said, an informal lesson, but flams, using more notes in the subdivision, bringing in your kick, in between those notes as well, using those ghost notes, right? Pushing the crashes, putting more crashes in and around the fill, right? So those are just a few tips that you can utilize. Guys, before you go, I want to share something with you. If you haven't signed up for the free drum training and watched that, you gotta check it out. It's a super great training for intermediate level drummers and drummers who are mainly self-taught. There's a good chance that there's some key things in your drumming that you've skipped over or you're missing. And what this training teaches you is all of the fundamental things that really help your drumming excel. So once you have a solid foundation laid on the drums, it's much easier to build on top of that and get better and better month after month, year after year. So I want to share that with you. Make sure you check it out. It's totally free. You just enter in your email and you start streaming it from your phone or whatever device you're on right now. So check that out. Also, guys, make sure to take advantage of the 1-week free trial we have running right now at Fisher Drumming. You can get access to the Total Drumming program for your first week free. After that, it's a great monthly cost membership. But if you don't want to do a monthly thing, you can do a one-time purchase, get lifetime access to the whole program, and it's really actually affordable. So check that out as well. I'll see you guys on the next lesson coming up here in the next week. I'm out.